messages if anyone is still coming and is on his way. But I think it's alright. So you guys should quickly jump on the stream now. Like jump on the live stream now and share the live stream to your status. If you can. Let me see. Okay, this is alright. So hi guys, welcome back to a new episode where I'll be talking about mixing, the key factors that you need to get your mix from being from a regular mix to a professional mix. So I'm currently trying to adjust my camera. Okay, I think this is alright. So I'm sorry guys, my main camera wasn't working. I wanted to use my main camera, but I ended up using my webcam to stream, which is still alright. But I'm recording and I'm seeing something on that recording. I think that stopped, Abby. What's he writing there? What did he say? Hey, Jesus Christ. You know, it's alright. So, the first I want to talk about is, let me adjust this mic. The first I want to talk about is production. You all know what production is, right? Like in layman words, what production is. So it's basically the transformation of raw materials into its finished form, right?
Yes.
So but when we are talking about production, we are all audio guys. We know what we are talking about. Meaning, we are talking about music production, media production. So now, where does mixing fall on when it comes to production? Like you have to know where it is in the whole of production. So under production, there's a family tree. We have audio, then we have visuals, and we have I think, let me try to write this, lighting. Don't mind my writing at all. So we have audio, we have visuals, and we have lighting. You understand? But now this is where we are audio guys. You understand? So anytime you see the word AVL, that's what it means. You have heard of AVL production. It means audio, visuals, and lighting. So still under this same audio, now these two guys are not our business yet. These visuals and this lighting, it's not yet our business. My boss, well done, sir. That's sir. So a quick recap. So have you guys shared the live stream? So I have 7 people currently live. So let's keep on. Let me take this guy down so my voice can be cleaner. Picking in my voice. I have a mic stationed to pick everyone's voice in case of questions. So now let's jump from the beginning. Let me do a quick recap. So I talked about production, and I said production is if you look at the word production, it means the transformation of raw materials into its finished form. So, and I said we are all audio guys here. So, the context in which we put production is always different. You understand that we're talking about audio production, yeah, right over here. So, if you look at this production now, I told you under production we have audio, then we have visuals, then we have lighting. So, currently today I'll talk about mixing, and I'm trying to bring down the family tree to where mixing falls, because there's a whole lot of factors involved. There's a whole lot of processes involved. You don't just jump into mixing and just understand it that way. So under production, we have audio, we have visuals, and we have lighting, right? Now, these visuals and lighting is none of our business. When it comes to large scale production, I think you need to work with them, because they all work together. These 3 guys work together to achieve this. Now, we are all under audio production. So if I'm going to continue this family tree, under audio, we have the manufacturing. Don't mind my writing, please. Manufacturing, then we have, then you guys can see this. Then we have mixing. And lastly, we have, you know what? Let me draw this whole thing from the beginning so that it fits the board in. So starting from, I need to adjust this guy. Yeah. So starting from production, we have audio, then we have visuals, and we have lighting. So I told you these two guys, it's none of our business for the moment. But under this audio, let audio come here. We have manufacturing, then we have mixing, then we have mastering. So we have these three processes or three stages when it comes to audio, like audio production. So what was manufacturing, and then what was mixing, and what was mastering? So talking about, I need to make sure you guys are hearing me clearly online. If you guys can hear me clearly, please notify online. Just write down in the comment section and we can move on. Okay, yes. Someone just went on it now. So under audio, we have manufacturing, mixing, and we have mastering. Now, what's manufacturing? The manufacturing can simply be called the input. I'm going to venture into this, then come into this. Then this mixing is more like the processing. Then mastering is all about output. You guys should write it down fast before I clean the board. Very good. Please don't mind my writing. It's been longer. I wrote on the whiteboard. So production, family tree, audio, visuals, lighting. Then under audio, which is our business, we have the manufacturing, the mixing, and the mastering. And I said the manufacturing involves the input. The mixing is the processing. And mastering is all about the output. So these are the three major processes when it comes to audio production. Now, what's manufacturing? Manufacturing is simply the input. You understand? This involves the instrument. I might not be able to write everything down, but I think it's easy for you to hear what I'm saying and just recap. The instrument and with OBS. Okay, I think it's coming back. I think we are back. We are back. Sorry guys for the little break. There was a kind of break. It was network. Is it back? Yeah. So let's keep on going. Where did I stop? Yes, I was at mastering. I was talking about playback devices, and I told you if you look at most popular songs, you understand, when you play them on most playback devices, they sound like very good. Playback in your car, on live sound, on your Bluetooth, on your some cheap headphones, they always sound Why are you laughing? They always sound good. Uh no. I actually paused. You've not missed anything. Somebody saying he has missed a lot. I okay. Let's keep on going. So, oh Jesus Christ! I actually need to go back. Like at that the moment that thing stopped, it was a very long time it stopped for. So I've been talking and I wasn't live. The network issue. So can you guys just state we are at mixing when it stopped? Nice. Okay. Okay. Let me. What can I do? What can I do? Okay. I've not really gone far. So let me just jump back into mixing it. Just for clarification. So I was talking about mixing. I said mixing is involves an engineer taking these individual sources, you understand, and being given tools, you understand, to shape and manipulate the sound coming from the manufacturing process in order to get a balanced output. That's what I basically said. And I said mastering involves the output, you understand. And under this output, the word I can use to really to explain what this machine is doing is polishing. Yeah. So, and the whole mastering process is just like 20%. That's just it. So mastering is making the mix of the mix engineer, making it sound consistent, making it sound good on every playback device. That's what mastering is all about. You understand? So currently we're on mixing and we're going to go deep into this mixing and what it's all about. So we have 50% of the manufacturing. Let me check this guy. I don't want him to happen. So we are currently at so I said the manufacturing process is just like 50%, the mixing is like 30%, and mastering is like 20%. So if I should ask which one is the most important in this whole process, the manufacturing, because every other thing it's the first thing, and any comma in this stage will affect the rest of the stages. Carry chair, sit down. So what was I saying? So I said if the manufacturing is wrong, to affect these other two stages, because it's actually 50% and the mixing is 30%, mastering is 20%. So the manufacturing involves the player, the instrument, the microphone, basically capturing everything. Yeah, and then the mixing is an engineer taking these individual sources with the aim of balancing everything with giving tools to get a balanced output. Then the manufacturing is actually polishing, making this the balanced output sound consistent on every playback device. Any questions before I move on? Any questions? Manufacturing. Even thought it was my internet. Sorry, it wasn't your internet, it was mine. So let's keep on going. So if anything happens in this 50% or over 50, the manufacturing gets, let's say, 45% over 50. It means the mixing can never get its full 30%. That's what it means. The backdrop, is that the right word? The minus that is happening here is going to affect the whole stages. So if this guy is giving 45%, no matter how good the mixing engineer is, he can never get a full 30%. Is that he gets 25%, and it affects the other stages. Yeah, they are giving tools for him to really alter, manipulate whatever is coming from the manufacturing. You understand? They are giving tools that can help solve, but there's a limit to how much it can manipulate what is coming from the manufacturing process. So that's how it works. So remember I said if anything is happening here, it affects the other stages. So giving a case whereby uh giving a case whereby the manufacturing is 25%, what's going to happen to this guy?
I was going to be like 15 or 10.
So it now depends on how experienced the engineer is or what level the engineer is to be able to take that 15% back to that 25%.
Is it possible for you to take it back to 25?
Yeah, there's some giving to giving a very bad drum set now. What I mean very bad. You know those Premier England drums? Very good. Like it's sounding very bad. Now, what can you do as a mixing engineer? There are things you can do. There's actually what we call trigger. It's an effect that listens to audio spikes. And when it gets that audio spike, it converts it to a sample you've loaded. So it doesn't matter if the kick is sounding very bad. It just needs a trigger. Once it gets that audio spike, it converts it to what do we call it? What we call it? Converts it to a sample you've loaded. So if you have a kick sample or a snare sample, it can actually use a trigger, you understand, to convert a very bad sounding kick drum.
What about in case there's no trigger or whatever?
Now, that's why I said depending on how good the engineer is.
Are you talking of mixer on the console or post production?
Yes, like now, he asked a sensitive question. Now, given, remember I said an engineer has a limit to how much he can manipulate what's coming from here. So, given a case whereby you just have a mixer that does not have a trigger, you understand? How can you really manipulate that? You cannot. You just have to work with the giving tools. That's why I said depending on the level of the engineer. There are some guys that are very good that when I mean very good, that they can turn trash into something that is very good. So most of the shows you see that are sounding very good, the drums you are hearing is not the drums that's coming from here, except the drums is very good. That's when I'll use the main instrument. I'll use the main sound, the natural sound. Most of the times I use triggers, and trigger is not cheat. People call it cheat. You are cheating. It's not cheat. It's basically I have that resources in my hand, and I can use it to manipulate a lot. So people that have not reached that level, they tend to call it cheating. That you are that you have a giving tool. I've worked for it. I work for it. I've earned it. So that's just depending on the level of the engineer. So what other things can you do as a mixing engineer? Imagine a singer like singing off key. You understand? We have auto-tune. What does auto-tune do in the processing? Giving tools. Don't mind my writing. No. Giving tools you have as an engineer. So on most mixers you don't have auto-tune, but you can work with third-party softwares that can give you access to auto-tune. So what does auto-tune does? What does it do? It simply shifts the tone or note of an audio signal to the nearest correct, depending on the key. That's what it does. So, and do you know there's how bad a singer will be that even the auto-tune will be confused. Very confused. It can be that bad. Like, a singer can be that bad that the auto-tune will be confused of which particular note are you trying to sing. You understand? And to get really confused and to do what it likes. So, that's how the manufacturing can affect other stages. So let me wipe this off and let's go into
You said something about samples. Is it that you can load samples inside the console?
now. The way it actually works is I'm going to reach that what do we call it? I'm going to explain that under the mixing because it's something I'm going to talk about, but let's not just jump right into it. I want you to understand some certain things before we jump into those things. Now we said manufacturing, then we said mixing, then we said mastering. Then I said 50%, right? Then I said how many percent here? 30. And I said 20 here. To make a whole 100%. So anything happening here will affect these other two stages. That's really easy to understand. So if you are getting, let's say 20 here, in which in most cases that's what we get. You understand? As an engineer, you face people giving you 20% of what they're supposed to give you. That's below average, because average is 25%, right? So they'll give you, some people will actually give you below average, and you as an engineer, even though yes, that minus 20 is supposed to remove 20 from yours. You understand? It's supposed to, so you're meant to deliver 10%. So with giving tools, you can actually push that percent higher back to where it's supposed to be. You understand? But there are limits. Then in mastering, which is not really important, is important, but in most cases you find this guy and this guy, manufacturing and mixing. Now let's go down into mixing, which is really what we came here for. Let me confirm if I'm still live. Very good. Mr. Jaffet, how are you doing now? So under mixing, you understand, I told you it involves the audio engineer taking individual sources from the manufacturing, you understand, with the aim of balancing everything into one. So what's the first tool you're being given as an audio engineer? The most important tool is your mixer. So you guys should keep on following. Okay, right. So the most important thing is your mixer. What's a mixer? Can somebody just quickly search what an audio mixer is and just read it out? Who is doing that? Just search what an audio mixer is.
That's it.
Yeah.
An electronic device used to combine and process multiple audio signals into a single output.
Can you read it out louder?
Okay, an audio mixer is also known as a soundboard or a mixing console. It's an electronic device used to combine and process multiple audio signals into a single output.
An electronic device
Used to combine
used to combine
and process
and process
multiple audio signals
multiple audio signals
into a single output.
signals into
Into a single output.
a single output. So I don't know if you guys need to write this down. It's not really important. You can always search it out. So a mixer is an electronic device used to combine and process multiple audio signals into a single output. Are you seeing still the same thing I said? So now under this mixer, under mixing, the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to mixing is your gain or gain structure. The second thing is your equalizer. The third thing is gate. Sorry. The third thing is actually gain. Then a filter. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this. Then we have um, timing, which I'm going to explain to.
Is the equalizer out of it?
No, it's in it, but I'm following what we call a strip. So
That's true.
the timing, then the next thing you get is a gate, a compressor. Then what else do we have? A gate, a compressor, then your equalizer, then a fader. So these are the major attributes of a mixer. Any mixer that does not have these guys, you understand, you cannot really do a lot with it. So what, like, starting from the gain, your gain is just amplitude. You understand? Then your filter. No, let me come down here. These guys are under. What am I saying? Okay, so this is what is the word we call it? Okay, let us call this dynamics. Then texture. Then volume. Then under filter, let me call this a cleanup. Then timing. Under timing, we have let me call it face. Then what else? What should I call gate? Let me call gate a cleanup also. So in most mixers, what you find is at the top, very top, is this guy, your gain knob. You understand? What does it do? Controls the amplitude, like how loud do you want an audio signal to come into your board. So in audio meter, let me not clean this. You have a scale. Which at the very top of it is called zero. There's 0 dB there, and below it is 60 dB. So anything below 60 dB is unwanted. It's not measured. It's not being measured. Now, this is 60. Then put 50 here. Then put 40. Then put 30. Then put 20. Then put 10. Yeah. dB.
So what is the meaning of
So dB means decibels. So it's an SI need to calculate the loudness of an audio signal. So this is what your mixer is measuring. You understand? From 0 to minus 60 dB. So this guy is actually in minus. See, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, minus 50, minus 60. So your mixer doesn't measure anything coming in below minus 16 decibels. It leaves it out. It doesn't measure it. So there's some really complex things I would like to talk about this, but it's something that you might not understand if I start going deep into it. Something that you might not really understand. So now this is, let me call it noise floor. Then anything above 0 is distortion or clipping. Let me just call it clipping. So you have your gain, which is really meant to amplify. Is an encoder used to set how much volume you want to come into your console. It's not a volume knob. People usually mistake this gain for their volume. It's something that most people make mistake. So if you watch some engineers that anytime they want to do something or there's a complaint about volume. You should watch them turning their
Again.
gain knob. So that's a sound engineer. That's not an audio engineer. So uh that's what your gain does. So most times we have dynamics. What do I mean by dynamics? Your audio signal, as I'm talking, if you can look at the meter over there, you can see my voice is coming up, is going down. When I stop, to go down, you understand? So the dynamics is the difference between the high side and the low side. So we have some very high side and we have some low sides. Now this scale is measuring that dynamics. Now if you have a signal that is uh coming in by, let's say, minus 40 dB, this is where it's reaching the peak of the signal. We're not looking at the valleys, we're looking at the mountains. So if the peak of the signal is coming in at minus 40, which is remembering, remember, the ceiling is zero. Anything above zero is what? Distortion and clipping. So in audio we have three colors, basically major three colors. We have green, then we have amber, then we have red. Anytime you see green, green means good. Amber means loud and good. Red means clipping, distortion. So it leads me to a question of, is distortion a good thing? Do you go? Do you think distortion is a good thing?
Distortion is not really. It depends. Sometimes it depends.
It depends, right?
Sometimes it's when you solo, you get distortion. It depends on what you are hearing from the output.
Okay, very good. What of you? Do you think distortion is a good thing?
Let's say it's good in some cases.
In some cases, okay. Baron, what of you? Okay, Egbon said no. You don't call. Didi.
Well, how my sound already distorts? You know, good now.
Distorted
Boss.
sound is harmful to the ear.
Okay. Now, the thing now is, distortion can either be good or bad. Yeah, can either be good or bad. But most times distortion is bad. That's just the truth. Many people listen to distortion and just be like, what am I listening to? They're listening to.
Why is it good?
So the reason why it's good sometimes is when we get into some key factors in mixing, you now understand that sometimes distortion, there are many types of distortion. There is I think harmonic distortion. There are basically many types. I've even forgotten many types of distortion, and some of them are very good. And in the sense that there are sometimes that distortion can add what we call octaves. Again, I'm going like forward, which I'm not meant to go yet. Somewhere I'm going to reach, but I'll later explain it. So it creates what we call an harmonic distortion, yeah, which adds other audio signal that were not present in the original signal. Don't worry, I'll explain. I know it's hard. I'll explain that. So we're measuring over the highest I'm measuring is 0, the lowest is minus 60. So now the amplitude we use, or the number we use on our scale most of the times when I'm trying to gain a signal is somewhere around there, minus 18 decibels. This is what professionals use most of the time. Do you know why I'm using minus 18? So from minus 60 to minus 18 is your green. That's where the green is. This green color is starting from. Then from minus 18 upward to around minus 3 or almost 0 is your amber. What's amber? Amber is like orange. You can if you can look over there, you're seeing that orange signal. Check, check, check. You're seeing that orange signal. That's what we call amber. So then zero is red. So most of the times professionals like gaining their signal to minus 18 dB. And this is what will prove to you that gain is not your volume. Now, that is an encoder used to set how much of an audio signal you want it to come into your board. Now, if you check very much, if you check on my gain knob on my voice is actually full. You understand? Because this mic, the way it is naturally, it does not really create loud amplitude. So you need a gain to really boost the volume up. So looking at your scale now, you have minus 60 to minus. Are you guys still on us? Are you guys following? So you have 0, you have minus 60, then you have minus 18, which is where your green is stopping, changing to amber. So most professionals like gaining their signal to minus 18 dB. It's just standard. So if your signal is coming in at let's say reaching minus 20, how much gain do you need to get to minus 18? So if your signal is hitting minus 20 dB, the peak of your signal, how much of this gain do you need to get that signal to reach minus 18? So it's actually plus 2. You need plus 2 upward. So your gain is to this side. Plus 2 to get to minus 18 dB, right? Let me check if I'm still live. Very good. So somebody said distortion sometimes brings out the real character of the audio. That's correct. Sometimes it's good if you really know what you're doing. Well, mind you, it still needs to be clean. Yes. Another person said depends on the type of distortion. Very good. There are many types of distortion. I think that's all. So, but what if your signal is coming in by minus 15 dB? What do you need to get your signal to get to minus 18? Very good. Minus 3. So you go downwards. So your gain is actually what you use to set how much of an audio signal you want coming into your console. And once it's set, that's it. You're not touching it again because you've gotten it to be as loud as you want. Because if it's not on minus 18 dB, some things like your compressor and your gates, the threshold might not really work. You understand? You might not really reach where the threshold is meant to work, or what do we call it? So that's just that. So what if it's on minus 10 dB? What do you do? What do you need to get your signal to minus 18 dB? Minus 8, sorry. It's correct, but this is minus. So minus is going downward. Remember, this guy is already in minus. So when you're going upward, plus. When you're coming downward, that's minus. So you need minus 18 dB to... So minus 8 dB to come down to minus 18. But one tricky question. What if your signal is coming in by above 0? What do you do? And your gain is on 0.
It's above
0.
It's above 0.
Yes.
above 0. It's above.
So if it's even above 0, that means you don't even know where it is. You understand? Because it's not being measured. So meaning your signal is already distorting. And there's nothing you want to do. So sometimes bringing it down can help, because most consoles you can just bring down your gain by minus 12. But what if this guy is coming on as loud as, let's say, plus 18, and this guy can only go down minus 12?
Go off mixer. The person
So the simple thing to do is it means what's even coming in, because normally when your signal is when your gain is on 0 and something is coming in too loud to the point that is causing 0, which is distortion, You understand? So it's actually from the source. You
Mm.
need to bring it down. Do you get my point? I remember there is a time I was trying to I think it was a bass combo. I was trying to mix we sent an audio signal from the bass combo to the mixer, and I was seeing it clipping red, and I was trying to
Turn it down.
turn it down. It wasn't going down. Do you know that the girl that actually plugged the combo went to put the jack in what we call speaker out? So you use an output that is meant to power a speaker. You use it to send signal to me. Imagine that kind of, and it can be as loud as like the signal can be that hot that it can burn an IC on the board. Yeah, because we have plenty audio ICs on the board, so it can burn an IC on the board, and once it's gone, you need to just replace it, and that depends on if the company has engravings. It's what we call numbers on your IC. Most companies that are very selfish, they will clean up that number, so even when it spoils, you don't even know which one to buy, and
Like the whole this, you have to
exactly,
turn it back.
you have to call them. So that's about gain structure. Now this gain structure, where it becomes very very tricky, is it's actually relative. When I mean relative, um so that things, uh not only your gain can actually increase the amplitude of a particular signal, not only your gain. So your compressor can increase, your equalizer can increase, you understand, your fader can increase the gain, like the amplitude, sorry, of a particular signal. So now the question now is, um if we have, let me do this, let me clean this guy. Someone should take a picture of this. I don't want to, just take a picture. Are you done? So so when you have a compressor, I know some of you don't know what it is, and I'll explain. It's just an audio video. You have a compressor, you have an equalizer, and you have, let's say you have your gain here. If your signal is, you have gained your signal, you understand, to be coming in at minus 18 dB, which is standard, right? And the compressor drops it to minus 20. The compressor has a gain too, what we call a makeup gain, that you can use to push that signal back to that 18. So you can just push that makeup gain by plus 2, right? Do you understand? Then maybe from the compressor entering into the equalizer is now decreasing this guy, this minus 18, decreasing it by minus 7, which is minus 25, right? Are you guys following? So
And this the way it decreasing it, will you show on the board?
you will not really even know.
Oh, no, okay.
It's just passing through processes that are actually affecting the amplitude. So sometimes you have to be smart enough to look at the overall gain, meaning when you solo most channel, even on analog boards, yeah, to show you the overall gain. Because when it has passed through these guys, it's now show you the overall gain, which is maybe minus 25. So you can now know, maybe you push the compression makeup gain, or this guy, you understand, the overall volume, you understand, to get to this, back to your minus 18. So that's how it works. Your bone is still fresh now, it just didn't enter. Okay. So now let's talk about timing first, which is very important.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to be clear on something concerning the gain and the fader.
Yes.
Do they work directly proportional to each other, or you can work independently? What I mean is, if your fader is, if you drop your fader all the way down and you gain up, will the signal still come out? Will anything come out? Or if your fader is up and your gain is down, do they work independently or do you have to coexist with each other?
Now they have to coexist with each other. That's just the truth because now your fader is the last thing, which is your volume. The last thing on every. This is what we call the fader. So it's the last thing on every channel strip. So, and if you look at analog boards, I told you you meet your gain. Maybe you now meet your filter. You now meet equalizer. Maybe you can have 4 knobs. And all these guys, they're always in parameters. Then maybe you now have
The
aux sense, something like that too. Then you now have your pan. The last thing is normal you meet is your fader.
you know,
The solo.
Yes,
solo
PFL.
version,
Here PFL, pre-fader listen. So normally your audio is passing through like this. That's where it's passing. So anything you do here, you understand, will affect the next thing. So even if your this guy is down, your fader level, let's say your fader level is on 0, your fader level is on 0, and your input is on coming in by minus 18 dB, which is good, and it passes through this guy. This guy didn't really affect the gain. Maybe it only affected the texture, your equalizer. Then now reach this place, and if your fader level is on 0, it will still give you a minus 18 dB output. Now, but if you reduce this fader by minus 5, you understand, to affect the overall gain, how much? That's minus 5, 18 minus 5, minus 23. So they coexist. They don't work independently because when you look at this channel chip, your audio signal is passing from your gain is affecting it. The output of your gain is now entering into the filter. Then the filter is affecting the output of filter is entering into your EQ. Then your EQ is affecting the output of your EQ is now affecting this guy. Then all these guys are all affecting each other. But the question now is, when it comes to all these guys, you see a button here, which we call pre-fader sense. You either see pre or post. I know most of us are not have not really met an audio console before, but you meet a button here, and that button, what it does is, when you put it on pre, you understand. When you put it on pre, you can actually, anything you're sending out to another place wouldn't be affected by this fader level, because this guy, when you put it on post, you understand, this aux sense is tapping from after the fader level, meaning when you push this guy, it affects what is going into other places, right? So, but this guy, but when it's on pre, you're still tapping from here, not from after the fader. Do you understand? So they have to coexist because it's actually a chain connected to each other from here to here. So in audio, it's what we call dry and wet. We have dry, which is unaffected. Then we have wet, which is the affected. So I want to talk about relativity here. Now, if you have, let's say, a compressor, which is a device that controls the dynamics of an audio signal, then you now have an equalizer, which controls the texture, right? Now, the question now is, remember, dry is unaffected and wet is affected, right? Now, if this is our compressor, let's compare, this is our equalizer, EQ. Now, what's entering into this guy? Is it dry or affected? So, is it dry or wet? Remember, dry is unaffected, wet is affected. What's entering into the compressor? Unaffected, which is dry, right? Then what's coming outside? Which is wet, right? But now, this guy, which is the wet, is entering into this EQ. What's entering into the EQ? Is it dry or wet? Why is it wet? So now, this relativity comes in. So it's actually wet if relating to the compressor, because what's coming outside is wet, but it's dry to the EQ, dry that's entering into it. Do you understand? So that's relativity for you. dry, unaffected, wet, affected, and this thing it also applies to your fader level. You understand? You will see on your fader level, you'll be seeing 0, which is here. You now see minus 5, minus 10, minus what do you call it? Minus 20, minus 50. So you now see plus 5, you see plus 10. Now the thing now is, some people you ask them what's gain, overall gain, and because the fader level is here or minus 10, they'll tell you that the gain is minus 10, and it's wrong. You understand? It's really wrong because there are some processes happening. Your gain and this thing are really entering this guy. So this guy was engraved on the board. You see this minus 10, minus 5, minus 20 is relativity. You understand? That's not the real gain. You get my point? So when I sometimes I'll be talking with some people and what they are saying, I'll just be like, no, you will not just argue, you just agree with them. Let them say their thing and go. You understand? They're telling you, you ask them what's your overall gain. They're telling you is minus 5. You understand? Because their fader is on minus 5. And what is entering here is minus 20? If what is entering here is minus 20, you understand? And the fader is on minus 5, what's coming out? Minus. That's correct. Do you understand? Shall I go again? Now, your fader is telling you you're on minus 5. You understand? And what is coming in, the real gain that's coming into your fader level, which is a variable resistor. I know you guys might not understand. So, what is entering into your fader is minus 20.
Minus 20?
Yes, minus 20 dB. And your fader level is telling you minus 5. We just say that the overall gain is now minus 5.
No, minus.
You understand? So it's just relativity. What is entering into here is affected by this guy. So how much is this guy affecting this guy? That's what you look at, not where this guy is really. Exactly. So what the overall gain is minus 25. Let's move very fast. Already going too slow. So let's jump into timing. Any questions, please?
You're not done with the compression.
No, compression is still down. So it's actually gain. Then I did filter, right?
Yes.
But I want to do timing before filter. Now let's talk about timing in sound. Let me. Are you guys alright?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go a little bit to the fundamentals of audio, and this is something that will help you. So, let's talk about timing a little bit now in sound. I don't really want to start writing definition. So, what is sound? Sound is a pressure wave created by a vibrating object, right? That means to create sound, an object has to vibrate, right? And when that object vibrates, it moves air molecules around it. You understand? This air molecules vibrates. You understand? And it creates a medium in which sound can travel. Now that means sound travels, right? Sound travels. So, and it has a particular speed it travels at. Sound travels at 343 meters per second. That means in 1 second, you understand? If this is junction to junction, which is 500 meters, most junctions to junctions are 500 meters long, right? Are you guys here?
Yes.
So most junctions are 500 meters long. That means if you shoot a gun, right? When you shoot a gun, the sound of the rifle in 1 second will have reached 343 meters. That's the speed of sound. It moves by 343 meters per second. Why they come by this time? Buzz. So 343 meters per second. Now the thing now is, that means in 1 meter, sound moves by 2.9 milliseconds. What's milliseconds? You understand? You all understand milliseconds, right? That's 1,000 milliseconds makes 1 second, right? And so if we're talking about timing, I'm going to ask a tricky question. So if I really want to go into phase, but I know I want to dedicate one session to talk about phase, like what we call phase and timing, phase polarity and timing. So that's like another class. It's very very deep. So, but I just want to really scratch the surface a little bit. Now the question now is, if let me take this guy off, breathe in small fresh air. So, if this guy, let's say sound moves by 343, that's standard meters per second, and light moves by approximately 3 million meters. Sir? Okay, power physics. No, all this one look honest. So 3 million meters per second, right? Then let's say the speed of a bullet, you understand, is 1,000 meters per second. This thing is really tricky. So speed, this is the bullet, right? This is speed of sound, right? And speed of light, right? Now I want to ask one question. So we understand what light is now. This is light. If I've seen light, you understand. Light also travels too. So, but if we have somebody here, this page does not support violence. So if you have somebody here and there's one way, God forgive me, sorry guys, over here with a sniper and he fires this gun, right? Now the question is, in relativity, what will this guy experience first? What's his first experience? Judging by the speed of sound, the speed of the bullet, and speed of sound, speed of light, and the speed of the bullet. The bullet moves by 1,000 meters per second. That means the bullet is faster than
the sound,
speed of sound, right?
yeah.
But light is faster than both, right? Now the question is, what will this guy experience? Will he hear the gunshot first before he now see the explosion from the gun, which is light, and before the bullet now hit him? What's his experience? Eh? Very good. Then
Bullet go hit am.
Before you hear the gun,
so are you see how we want physics, how funny it is? So if you first see the lights, that's even if you even see the lights from the gun, and before the bullet now touches him, before you now hear the sound of the gun, so you no go even hear am. So the question is now, if they ask you to dodge this bullet, can you dodge it? Like you're looking away, they say wait for the speed of sound and then shoot you first before you now move. You make it? No, you won't, because the speed of the bullet is moving faster than the speed of sound. So the bullet go not touch you before now hear the. But if you ask you to look at the gun, you will first see light. That's the explosion coming first. So when you see the explosion, what do? You move. You cannot wait.
it's not that easy.
What if God don't dey show like if God don't dey show like
People are laughing. People they laugh for you. So that's just relativity for you. So now let's come back to audio. Enough of sniper and this thing. So now it means if there's somebody here and there's somebody here, right? And no, let me draw this guy again. There's somebody here And the speaker here, that's the speaker, right? And speaker is pushing pressure to this side. Now, and sound is traveling this way, to this direction. Who will hear the sound first? This guy or this guy?
Right in front.
The guy in front.
I need to. The guy in front, right? Why? Because of the distance in between. It's closer to the speaker, so you hear the sound before this guy. And the question now is, how do you calculate? I'm just talking about timing. Remember, we're talking about timing here. So, how do you calculate how fast the timing it takes from the speaker or the sound from the speaker to move and hit this guy before it hits this guy? Now we understand that the speed of sound is 3 meters per second, right? That means and the formula we use is actually meters divided by speed of sound times 1000. So that's what we use. So if this guy is, let's say, 17 meters from here to this guy, and this guy is 18 meters, right? Because they are obviously different distance from each other. Now the question now is calculating this guy and this guy, the timing to take for the sound to reach this guy before it reaches this guy. Now this is meters, right? Now this is the formula here, meters divided by 343 times 1000. So if you move this guy over here, please you guys bring our calculator, 17 meters divided by 343. Please let's do it. 343. So it will give you 52 or 49. Let's check.
0.049.
Do you times by 1000? Times 1000.
49.5.
49, right? So that means this guy to take 49 milliseconds to travel to this guy. And to this guy encore to be 52. Check.
This guy.
Yes, to this guy. So check, put 18 here. 18 divided by 343 times 1000.
52.47.
52 exactly.
This works for delay speakers too, right?
Yeah, works for delays. That's exactly how we point get the delay. That's why you meet me with that laser most of the times.
Yeah.
Trying to check the distance between two objects and dividing it by this time, then times 1000. This one about times in by 1000 because we want to get a whole number, not numbers in decimals, in a number with points. So it actually, I'm looking for a whole number. So if you check it very remember 1000 milliseconds makes a second. So I'm timesing it by 1000 to get a whole number. So it will actually give you 0.0049, right? But when we did times 1000, it gave us what? 49. That's 49 milliseconds. So it means this guy, we hear this sound first before this guy. That's just you choose. Because this guy is further away, 52 milliseconds. You guys should write this formula down to really help you. So what's the time difference between these two guys? If this guy is reaching here by 49 milliseconds and he's reaching here by 52, people are not really sensitive. So I could. So where were we?
The difference between
Yes,
that would be 3
milliseconds. Very good. 52 minus
49.
49. That's 3 now. So that tells us that between this guy and this guy is just 1 meter. If this guy is 17, this guy is 18. So that tells you that sound moves by 3 meters per second, right? Sorry, 3 meters. What am I saying? Sound moves uh uh by 3 milliseconds per meter, right? So meaning if it was 19 meters, how many will it be? 55. That's plus 355. Then it was 20, 58. So the reason why is actually 2.9 milliseconds, but if you approximate it, that's 3, right? Takes 3 meters. So I'm trying to do relativity for you guys. So it also applies to microphones. We have 2 microphones. I have a microphone here. I have a microphone here. I have another microphone here. And somebody's talking here. Nobody. This is somebody here talking, and this mic, because the sound moving this way, this mic will pick the sound first before this guy, right? So that's where timing issues now comes in. And that's why you always meet input delay and output delay in your mixers. So input delay, with input delay you can time align different mics. So giving an example now, this microphone is picking my voice before this guy picks it. Why? It's closer to me, right? But there is something also different. It's facing this side and that one is facing that side. That means they're out of polarity. So let me just quickly explain something that is really hard for most people to understand, but it's something that is very, very important. Now, when it comes to audio, I'm going to explain it I don't call it a foolish way or a stupid way, because you have to understand it that foolish way first before you now understand how it really is. You saw Mr. Bishop, right, doing something first. That thing is very, very important, and it helps you when it comes to what do we call it? When it comes to mixing or understanding audio, it really helps you. And these are the little things that we know that makes our own mix different from most guys. Now the thing now is, where was I? So this is a timeline. You understand? From here to here is 1 second, right? So basically, we usually hear frequency. What's frequency? You understand? I can tell you that it's very easy to understand, but the problem is when most people are explaining, the physics involved is just too much for a layman to really understand, and I don't find it wrong, but I find it really, I don't want to say disturbing. If you cannot explain something to a 5-year-old, you don't really understand that thing. That's just the truth. So now, does it mean that those that really do physics in school, does it mean they cannot understand audio? Is that what it means? If every explanation involves a lot of physics. So now, let me just explain this. From here to here is 1 second. So frequency is basically vibration, calculated vibration. That's the best way to understand it. Don't say frequency means circles per second, all those funny words people use. So this is something that will really help a lot of people. Vibrations, calculated vibrations. That's what frequency means. To me, that's the simplest way I can ever put it. And this is one of the deep fundamentals people need to really understand. So now the thing now is, when it comes to vibration, we have rest position, right? Then we have, let's say we have x-axis and we have y-axis. Do you understand? For something to vibrate, it has to move from rest, right? So when it's not vibrating, it's on rest position, right? Then when it starts vibration, it move from x axis to y axis. Do you understand? That what um that's what do we call it? Frequency is. So is actually calculated vibration. So if you hear frequency, they're just basically asking you how many vibrations per second. Do you understand? I can really explain it to be very hard and explain the real, but understanding it well, you need to just understand that frequency just means um vibrations per second. So if you have, let's say, you have one vibration, you understand? I'm just giving an example. You have one vibration, meaning it moves from rest position, then moves to x axis, then to y axis, then back to zero. This is what we call one hertz. Do you understand? See it as vibration. Don't see it as circles per second. That what they will explain to you, and to be very very hard. So it's just actually vibration. So how many times is it moving from left to right? What's that? Okay. You see zero there.
This one, yes.
So that's what frequency is. Frequency is how many vibrations do you have per second. So we had one vibration. Let's just call it one circle, meaning it moves from rest position to x axis, then to y axis, then zero, right? So, but when you have two vibrations per second, that means maybe your guitar string move from left to right two times. That's 1, 2 in that same second. Remember, from here to here is 1 second, right? So you have one vibration. If you're not getting it, please, like, really let me know. Let me explain it. So this is what was I said if you have one vibration per second, that's 1 hertz. If you have two vibrations per second, what's it called? 2 hertz. If you have three, you call 3 hertz. If you have four, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm really drawing waves in waves. So this is what we call a complex wave, having different frequencies in that same timeline. It's called a complex wave. So I hope you guys took pictures. So that's basically it. This is the timeline, second. 1 hertz means one vibration. You understand? Or we call it oscillation, moving from rest position to left. So it's actually vibration they're actually trying to explain to you how many vibrations, but they don't put it that way. And when they don't put it that way, it appears hard to you. It's just actually, you get my point. So remember I said for sound to be created, an object needs to vibrate, right? And when it vibrates, it moves air molecules around it and to compress it, and that compressed is more of let me not go into that. It's hard. So that's just simply what a frequency is. So we have 20, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I ask you what 20 hertz is, what does it mean? 20 vibrations in a second. Is it hard? That's one, like, moving very fast. So one vibration per second would be like, if this is 1 second, 1, 2, 3. That's the duration of 1 second, right?
Yeah.
So if I have one hertz, which is 1 vibration per second, that's just moving like in 1 second. 1, 2. That's very slow, moving back and forth. Do you understand? So, but if I have 2 in that same seconds, so it has to move twice. 2 vibrations. So it's actually move faster to complete those 2 vibrations. So 20 hertz is actually very fast because you have plenty vibrations inside that same second. So it goes on and on, gets to 40, 50, 100, 200, 500, 1000. Can you imagine what 1000 vibrations per second sounds like? Like how fast it's moving. Now imagine, so when it reaches 1000 hertz, which is meant to be like this, 1000 hertz, we call it 1k. That's 1 kilohertz. That's, do you understand? Then we have 2,000. That's 2K. We have 5K. Like goes on and on till you get to 20. So you get to 40. Then till you get you to 100 kilohertz. Till you get to 500. To get to 1 million, which will now move to turn to 1 megahertz. It keeps on going till you get to 1 gigahertz. It keeps on going like till you get to tera. You understand those words we used to check what million is, what thousand is. You understand? So that's basically what frequency is. But now the funny thing now is the only thing we can hear, human being can hear, is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's 20,000 hertz, right? Anything above this, we cannot hear it. Anything below this, we cannot hear it. So we call this things with below 20 hertz, we cannot hear. We call it infrasonic frequencies. And things above 20, we call it ultra. You understand? That's things we cannot, that are too high for us to hear. And below 20, things that are too low for us to detect, our ears to detect. But the funny thing now is, some other animals can hear this. Like what Bishop was saying. Rats can communicate at 40K. Do you understand? Different animals, like he said, elephants can hear low, like 10 hertz. That's how low they can hear. But we human beings, what we can hear is from 20 to 20 kilohertz. That's why elephants will make that vibration they just make. Like this kind of go, that's going to be shaking. And from far away, another elephant will be able to hear it. So that's just frequency for you. How many vibrations per second? Now the question now is, each frequency has a tone. It's great. That amount of vibration, you understand? If it's 20 hertz, it has a particular tone it's producing. If it's 50, it has a particular tone it's producing. So if it's 100, it has a particular tone. So I'm currently trying to show you guys an example of what it sounds like, of what a single frequency sounds like. So I'm going to play it here. So hold on. Okay. So this is what 100 hertz sounds like. Can you guys hear that? Which is actually what do we call it? Which is I think I need to send this guy to the main boss so people online can hear it. So online you need to put on headphones to hear this frequency. So this is what 100 hertz sounds like. That's 100 vibrations per second, right? This is what 89 sounds like. How 79 sounds like. How 67 sounds like. Now you can see the volume is dropping because this speaker was not made to handle deep frequencies like that. So if I go up, this is 126, 300, 399, 447. I'm just playing random frequencies for you. So this is, we've gotten to 20,000 vibrations. That's 20K. Sorry, 2K. Yeah. 3K, 5K, 8K. Ice is going up higher. It's going up higher. Then let's keep on going. Can you hear anything again?
Yes,
Small, Abby. This is 14. This is 17. If you cannot hear it, you're an old man. So that's because it's still working. It's actually there, but your ears can't detect it. So that's an ultra. It's not actually ultra. It's just we that cannot really detect it. And I'm still on 17. I'm not got it to 20. So newborn infants, we our own head don't spoil. We be listening to different things. Like, do you understand? So you cannot really hear that high frequency like that. So this is 17. If I raise the volume, let me see. Let me come that one.
This is 20.
This is what.
This is 14. It's 15.
20.
And sometimes my bet that the speaker is not producing
This
it.
one is not big.
Because most speakers
It's speaking,
It's
but
speaking
not
it.
so much.
It's speaking it.
Yeah, it's the
it dey inside my brain.
50
So
seconds we should do it. So we should not have it.
I'm gonna say you the use headphone now.
so this is 20.
20.
I'm not even sure.
You can see here. It's still something. Because of the regulation.
Yes. So that's how a single frequency sounds like. Do you understand? So my voice now consists of many frequencies at the same time. As I'm talking, there's 50 inside, there's 51, there's 52. There are so many frequencies inside. Do you get my point? Like that we call a complex wave because you have a lot of vibrations going on. Like you have 20k vibrating, you have 10 vibrating, you have 8 different frequencies vibrating at the same time. So that we call a complex wave, right? Because it involves a lot of frequencies. So now let me play a sound that involves that has all frequencies at the same time. You understand? That's the most complex wave. So if I come down to this guy, yes. So now this sound is called a pink noise, and it's. No, let me play this other one. White. So this sound is called a white noise. Check. And it consists of all frequencies in the same volume. All frequencies in the same volume. This is called pink. You can see this pink is deeper, and the reason why it's deeper is it has a low end boost. So pink noise is actually all frequencies in the same volume, but according to human hearing, we can't hear low frequencies like that. Than we can hear high frequencies. So this pink noise, what's the time? Sorry, we still need to really go. I need to watch the rest. Really watch the rest. So this sound consists of all frequencies in the same volume according to human hearing. So that's a pink noise. There's white noise. There are different kinds of noise. There's brown. There's violet. There are many. So let's keep on going. So now the reason why I was talking about timing is just under mixing. If you don't understand this, you might not be able to do a lot. So you have your drum set, your kick drum, you have your snare, you have tom 1, tom 2. Who said the head? The floor tom. From okay, I'm doing from audience perspective now. That's what I did like that. So your kick drum, snare, tom 1, tom 2, floor tom. And you have cymbals. What else? Then hi-hat, thank you. This is your kick drum. So now you now have, don't mind my drawing now. So you have microphones used to capture all these, right? So you place a microphone here on your kick. You place one on your snare. You place one on your tom 1, another one on your tom 2, another on your floor tom. You now take another one which is carrying what? Overhead mic, which is carrying
What's by using two mic for this now?
two mic. We're talking about basic mic up now, not professional mic up. So we have normally there's how you mic your drums, like it's giving you 16 channels, but this is just basic for like everyone can understand. Snare, kick, tom 1, tom 2, floor tom, hi-hat. Now you have mic picking up this kit. Now when you play your snare drum, this mic is closer to your snare. What does it do? To pick up the snare, right? But you have overhead that is picking the whole drums as a whole, but basically more of the cymbals because the cymbals are closer, right? Mm-hmm. So it's picking more of the whole drums. Now your snare mic is actually picking the snare because your snare is still going to enter your overhead. It's going to enter your overhead, like the two of them. So because the overhead is picking the whole drums. So but your snare mic is here and it's closer to the snare and it's picking the snare first before the snares are not travel and meet this guy. So the distance between this guy and this guy can be 1 meter, which is which in milliseconds means 2.9 milliseconds, right? That means these two mics are not time aligned. Do you understand? The snare is picking the snare mic is picking the snare before the overhead. And when you listen to two of them on the board, this is what it looks like. You have your kick, your snare, tom 1, tom 2, floor tom, then overhead. Now, it means from relating to your snare, that means let's say your snare is on 0 milliseconds, your snare mic picking it. The overhead is picking the snare at 2.9 milliseconds later. And what's the implication of this? To cause a smear. What do you call smear? Because you have two mics that are picking the same thing but in different time. Do you understand? So you can get the snare, assuming this overhead mic was like a lot higher to the point that the delay time is now like 10 milliseconds. That means when you're listening to the overhead and the snare together, you know what you know is keke, what you hear is pra too. You have two sources speaking the same thing. So what can you do to solve this? You can see where timing can now be a very major issue. And this is what these professionals usually do. What they do is they'll not apply delays. If their overhead is the last thing that is up, like speaking the drums by 2 milliseconds later, they'll not delay their snare by these 2 milliseconds so that to time align with the overhead.
How do you delay practically?
So practically we have input delays. I'm not sure you guys can see this. If you look at your config, where is it? View. It's somewhere in the board. I will actually look for it. So on your board you have input delay and this output delay. So this input delay is used to time align.
Sorry, is it on a channel strip?
Yes, on the channel strip. Yes, it has delay.
It has
Every channel has delay.
input and output.
Delay. So those tools are just there. Many people don't use it. And you're wondering why you go to a concert, you be hearing the drum smacking very hard and seeing the drum sounding distinct and perfect. Do you understand? And you know that it's just because of this little thing that you just do. So what's really hard about timing and aligning your kit? It's something that many people don't know. They don't know it and they don't do it. You understand? So it's these little things that will differentiate you from just an intermediate engineer to a professional engineer.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now, for example, these drums now,
Yes.
are we going to still use the same formula we used? That is the meter over the speed of time times 1000 to get
Distance.
the distance from it. So
Yes.
get that's how we will now know
Exactly. So that's how you get it.
mathematics.
This is mathematics.
Large spaces now, like let's say camp.
Yes.
You know there's front of us and there's stage.
Yes.
So sometimes there's not how the audience know you're front of us, but it's not be as loud as
Yes.
there's not know your stage, but it's not be as loud as front of us.
Yes.
So sometimes the stage is coming, then the front of us is coming late. Like you hear it twice.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
singer sing praise God, you hear praise God, praise God.
Yeah.
So how
Delay time,
can we
like
solve
all
that?
this rhythm camp.
So now there is something about natural delay that is nothing you can do about. You understand? So you can't do anything about. Even we most of the time we end up giving up sometimes. Your aim as an audio engineer is enter into the space and give your best. You cannot be always perfect. I was coming from somewhere yesterday and the low end is just you cannot hold the low end like this. It's cartoon boom, because it's a very big space. But you still need to do your best. You need to speak with musicians, and this is where manufacturing process can affect your mixing, because now you explain to drummers that you're in a large space where when you play your kick drum, boom, the kick drum will stretch boom, before it now. So while you play the first kick, the A is going, the A is still going. That means the first kick is still in the building. You now play B, B will now play with mix with C. That like keeps on going, and that's why I usually explain a lot of times to drummers that most of the times, yes, you are very very good, but you see, when it comes to large spaces, you always have problem with the low end. The low end is always the largest wavelength, and it means it stretches more than your high end. Do you understand? So you're not kind of person. You're playing. I play a photo. How do you want to hear what you're playing? You know fit, but you will tell them no go agree for you because they're enjoying themselves. They don't care about what the audience is listening to. This is where most times you see most guys in big arenas, you hear dum, 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 ka, dum, dum. They're not playing too much because when you start bringing in a lot of things inside that kind of big space, things should become.
It's not possible that problem is can solve with many more than like enough output speakers.
Yes. So most times what you can do is when you have multiple speakers, like you have your front of all, your line array. Let me clean this off. I think you guys understand this, right? So I think moving, although it's still part of mixing, it's live sound, but it's something that I really want to answer your questions. So you know that when you walk away from here, you know that yes, I learned something today. So now you have your audience. People are sitting down from front to back. You now have your line array, which is the first box is feeding, your second box is going like this. You understand? Each box is going to different locations, right? Now, normally there is the direct sound and the reflected. What's the reflected? Reflected is your speaker hitting the wall and bouncing other places, and that what causes the vibration, right? Now, the direct sound is what is really coming from here. Do you understand? To your face. So when you are closer, you hear direct. When you start moving further, you start hearing the reflected sound mixing with the direct sound. So it will start becoming more unclear. So you need more speakers, what we call delay speakers, that will not take over from where that reflection is starting from. You understand? To throw clarity from front to back. So most times you can even have multiple speakers, delay 1, delay 2, delay 3, you can keep on going. You can throw quality, you can throw quality from front to back. But the problem is now you have subs, large subs, like 20 subs on the ground. You understand? And you can only play subs in the front. You cannot play subs here and say you want to delay it. Except it's a very large place that you now need to do another sub reinforcement in that place. You understand? But mainly here, the sub is always in the front because it's harder to time align subs. It's easier to time align these guys. You understand? It's very easy to time align these guys, but this what do you call it? It's very hard to time align. So how you meet subs mostly in the front. So that what you can do most of the cases. It actually helps. You understand? In the high end, not in the low end. So the low end will always be a problem in large spaces. You wanted to answer the question?
So in this delay speakers I talked about,
Yes.
you solve it by calculation or just
Yes. So when you hang speakers, the same formula applies in so many places. What you don't need to do is calculate the distance between this guy and this guy, distance between this guy and this guy, distance between this guy and this guy. So if the distance between this guy and this guy is 18 milliseconds, and that means that's 52. We've done that before. You delay this guy by 52. So when delay, what will you do? What's delay? Delay means wait, like for something to hold on. You understand? So when you have speakers that are plugged, receive the same signal but on different processing, normally the sound will come out at the top, from the top at the same time. But now you've put a processor, a delay processor here, that's telling this guy to wait for 52 milliseconds. That means when the signal is, this delay will hold this speaker, tell it to wait for this one to play. Then when this one now travel for the 18 milliseconds, it will now release its own. The two of them will now merge. They keep on going. Then you time align this one too to this one. So let's say this one is, let's say is 20 milliseconds. You time align this one to this one, time align this one to this one, and time align this one to this one. Because that's how you keep on going. So everything's starting from the front and it's moving. Sorry, sir. It's moving and it's going, and you keep on delaying them to your front of house. So they are actually, that's how it actually works. So why, like, how do you know that when it gets to this place, it will release the same sound You understand? At the same time, the turbulence will match. How do you know? Because you've calculated the distance, and judging by the laws of physics, sound moves by 343 meters per second, right? So, and you've done the calculation. So, when you had that 52 milliseconds, automatically to time my line. This guy will wait for this guy. You understand? Then this guy will wait for this guy. That's how it works. So, you understand the question, sir?
Yeah. Now, the delay. How do you know when the frequency terminates? Where it terminates from? Is it from the speaker processor or what? Like when it's shooting out. Now, how do you know that okay, this is the point. This is the point at which this sound is going to fade off. Where I now need to start
adding reinforcement.
a reinforcement, because I think that would determine where the position of the speaker, and that will ultimately determine the distance for it to now calculate how. So how do you know that okay, is it that you just gauge by hearing, or there is something? How do you know where it terminates? Because I think that could affect the overall delay process.
So, the way you know is simply your ears. You understand? You just need to move back till when it's fading. When it's fading. So there's no like right way I'll say. But most of what I do is I always have a delay every 15 meters. Every 15 meters, I always had
10 meters.
yes a delay speaker. You understand? So after this delay speaker, I'll move around 15 meters
Okay.
before I now had another this thing. So that's the rule I use most of the time. But most of the time, is if you don't have enough speakers, you can just walk back till when you are
You can't really get clearly.
yeah, you can't hear clearly. That's when you had your reinforcement.
Yeah.
So in those kind of large spaces, that's what you do. You understand? But now, remember that this is where the tricky thing comes in. Let me draw this guy again. Let me draw it again. This is where it comes in. Now you have two speakers. One is here. One is here. Now, you calculate the distance between this guy and this guy is 1 meter, which is 2.9 milliseconds, right? And you added that delay on this guy, 2.9 milliseconds, right? Now, you that are standing here, the speaker is not pointing at where I can see it. But it means if you are standing here beside the speaker, you've just double the distance between you and the speaker. So even if you're hearing this speaker naturally 2.9 milliseconds away, that's a natural delay. As you not add any delay. So automatically you hear this guy 2.9 milliseconds later in time. But because the speaker is not facing you, it doesn't really matter. Do you understand? You hear it in low volume. So but when you now add that 2.9 milliseconds, what does it mean? You've added one virtual delay and a natural delay. 5.8. Yeah?
It will delay for your ears.
So when you're doing this, you just be careful of people on stage. Do you understand? Unless they'll start hearing their voice further away. That's why you have to reduce your delay speakers. Don't need to like make it be too loud to the point that it will start what do you call it, disturbing people on stage. Do you understand? Or you use speakers which are cardioid, which has a cardioid pattern. All these things, we'll talk about these things. There are different kind of polar patterns. There's omni, there's bidirectional, there's unidirectional, there's cardioid, there's super cardioid. So there are many types of
It's supposed to be course for school.
so there are many types of pattern. So if you have a speaker that is only shooting to the front, you understand, it means you hear less of that speaker if you are at the back. You have a speaker that is just shooting everywhere, you understand. Yeah, you cannot really control. Do you know? You get my point. You can't really control how much it's spilling on the stage. So, any other questions before I move on?
Okay, let's say when you have a speaker,
Now mixing video, we don't dey move. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
you are sending the signal, or you are looping it
Yes,
send to the
yes.
because of this. The people at the back are not hearing. You need to still delay that one you are sending.
Now, it depends on
Is it even possible to delay? I think that should be the first question.
How do you delay?
Is it possible to delay?
delay.
You understand this question?
Said loop.
Yes.
Yes, look, that's what I'm going to talk about. The same signal. Now, When you're sending a signal, you cannot delay because you're looking for one speaker to your speaker. You are not using another processor to apply that delay. So what you simply do is take that speaker back to the front. That's what you do. Or unless if you don't do that, what will happen is people here they'll be hearing this guy before this guy. So they'll be hearing para para. Your snare will be smearing. It will happen on your kick on your snare. That was be hearing. I'm very serious. So that's not natural feel. So you really need to have those things. There's sometimes that okay, let's talk about zones. Now, I said there are delays. Let me just quickly clarify this so that you guys will know it too. So we talk about delays, that's having an extension. There's what we call relays. So relays is actually another zone. You have a church, this is where choir is, this is where pastor is, this is where audience is.
Sorry, this camera.
Which camera? It's not recording, So this is from top to down view, right? So this is your stage. Sorry, yeah, this is where choir is sitting down, this is where pastor is sitting down. This is where this thing. You now have your two speakers shooting to the audience like this. You now have another one like this, delay 1, delay 2, delay 3, delay 4, like this star. You understand? So all these guys are delayed to the front of us. If you now have another one that is shooting to the choir, do you need to delay it?
No.
Why? It's not directly facing your main. Then this one too facing you, do you need to delay it? No, so that we call a relay. You understand? You're feeding other zones. So that's where things you're talking about can work. But when you're talking about looping this to this and this together, you cannot apply independent processing on both. So that's a problem. Do you understand? That's a real problem. So it's either you can just work with it that way. If the para is okay with you, you use it like that. You understand? Because you don't have a choice. So that's just it. So let's fly to the next thing. What did we talk about? We talked about gain, structure, then we talked about filter. I have how many minutes more? Like 9 minutes.
It's not about gate.
Let's move according to the line. I jumped.
After timing is gate.
What was the first thing? Gain.
Gain, filter, timing.
Yes. So let's the filter. We'll talk about gate and compressor before we end it, don't worry. So let's then go input her.
The laptop charge.
It is not charging. No. Okay, let me plug it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's charging now. So what was that? Let's talk about filter now. So we talked about frequency and frequency having we talk about frequency and we said frequency is just rate of vibration. You understand? How many vibrations do you have in a second? Now let's talk about an equalizer before you understand what a filter is. So remember, this is just the simple way. This is more complex. As that guy is sitting over there, he knows what I'm talking about. It's actually more complex than you are saying. But I'm explaining the baby way to you guys. So let's talk about the spectrum of sound, which is an equalizer. So basically, an equalizer is, someone should search what an equalizer is. The definition, please. Audio equalizer. Eh?
So, an equalizer is an audio device or software that adjusts the volume bracket gain of specific frequency ranges with an electronic signal.
Thank you very much. So it's another device that controls the gain of particular frequencies, right? Now, let's place things on a spectrum. You understand? You have an equalizer. Let me draw it. Let it be bigger. You have an equalizer. So an equalizer is not just a knob. Because how many people know it as? If you push this guy, I think I need to talk about the H3 first. So the first equalizer that came out, it was one knob. If you turn the knob to this side, it'll give you more high. Turn it to this side, it'll give you more low. Very funny. More low end. So I'm looking at the spectrum. On the spectrum, you have 0 minus 15 plus 15, right? Then you now have frequencies. You have from, remember, the only frequency you can hear is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So the rest is now our business, right? Because we cannot really hear them. Why should we be controlling them? So you have from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, right? Then 20, 40, 60, 80, you understand? Are supposed to have, all of them are really on the spectrum. So each frequency now is just like a bar chart. You understand what bar chart is? So each frequency, equalizer is just, this is just a visual representation showing you the relativity between different frequencies, because different frequencies can have different volume. So it can be that 20 hertz is, this is -5, -10, -15. So let's say 20 hertz is on -5, 60 is on 0, 100 is on +5, then let's say 200 is on -3, then 500 is on -5, then 1000 is on -10, then 1 kilohertz is on -7, then 5 is on -2, then 8 is on +2, then 10 kilohertz is on +5, then 20, we don't really have 20 like that. So it's just showing you different frequencies and their volume. So this is 0 dB, which is unity, average, the relativity. Above the 0 is plus, right? +5, +10. Below the 0 is -5, -10, right? So this is just showing us, this is a visual representation of what an equalizer is doing. So let me do all this. So this what we call a weighting curve. You understand? If you look at it, this is the way it just looks like on the spectrum. You understand? So it's showing us all frequencies and relating to their volume. You guys understand? So an equalizer has the power, you understand, to bring up certain frequencies and bring down certain frequencies. So talking about in those times when we had one knob, what does it, who is that? So talking about what do we call it? Let me draw this guy. So talking about just close that door, yeah, that's alright. So chat, do you have any questions? Any questions in the chat before I move on? Can we keep on going? Our back's paining us. Knowledge no easy now. Is that? Oh, now we supposed. I think now everybody buy this board now. Now everybody buy board now. I don't get what you. When I know they look me like these two. So let's keep on going. Those times we had one knob, which when you turn to this side, it either increases the high, when you turn to this side, it increases the low. So when you turn it to this side, what does it mean? When the knob is on 0, what does it do? Flat. When you push the knob to this side, what does it do? It means you've actually increased the high and decreased the low. Are you guys here? So, should I come again?
Yes.
Remember, an equalizer has the power to affect certain frequencies, affect and increase certain frequencies and decrease certain frequencies. Now you have an equalizer that has, in those times, that's only one band. Just one band. You understand? So when you push it to this side, it increases the high and reduces the low. So that means it increases the high. Remember this 20 hertz, 20 kilohertz, it's fading from low end to high end. I played what different frequencies sounded like, right? So when you push it this side, increasing the high end more than the low end. When you turn the equalizer to this side, you're actually decreasing the low end and decreasing the high end. So that's how it works. So, but when you now have as time went on, uh, we now had two band. One is controlling the high, and one is controlling the low, right? So it's all about texture. So let me draw the spectrum again. One is controlling one controlling the low. That means it's actually divided into two. You understand? This low is controlling from 20 to what? Let's say 500. Then the high is controlling from 500 to 20k, right? So when you increase the high, you can actually affect only the highs and leave the lows alone. And when you increase the lows, it's like this. Or when you increase the high and low together, if you increase, wait, I'll ask one question. If you increase the high and the low together, what will you do?
Increase the high.
And the low together. Have you affected the texture?
Yes.
Why have you affected the texture? Can you explain? So let me just explain something. So equalizer is basically you have the power to affect frequencies alone. Now, when the two of them was on zero, on unity, that's in the center, we're not affecting anything, right? But when I increase the I and put the I on 2 o'clock, increase the I, right? When I increase the low will increase, right? But the question now is, when I increase the high and low to be the same volume, what have I done? I balanced it. I did not really affect the texture. I just increased the overall volume, shifting from zero, that's the overall volume upward. So you can actually use an equalizer for more volume if you increase all the bands together. So now as it was going, we now had 3 knobs: high, mid, low, high, mid, and some people can relate pa. So we had three knobs. Then under these 3 knobs, one is now controlling, let's say, from 20 to 100. The mid is controlling from 100 to what? 1k. And the high is now controlling from 1k to 20k. So it's more flexible, right? So that means when you increase the low, only low increase. Yes? No, wala, low. You can always watch it live. All right. Yes. I'm currently live. So where was I? So you now have different bands. Are you guys here? Yeah. Different bands affecting different ranges of the spectrum, right? Then we now have one that came out next was more exciting for engineers. You had 4 knobs. I using from 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one was doing high, this one was doing low, this one was doing, most times it was mid. Then yes, low mid, sorry guys. Low mid and high mid. So the spectrum was now divided into 4. You can now actively manipulate each ranges of the spectrum. Now, but these 4 now, there are 2 types. It's either the high mid, low mid, and low mid, or it's either, what do we call it? It's either high, low, mid, then it's what we call shift. It's actually mid shift. So this is where flexibility, yes, came from. So now you have low. So it's actually 3 bands: high, mid, and low. Right? 3 bands: low, mid, high. But they now made this mid flexible. That means this mid you can move around. Do you understand? When you put this mid, when you shift, you can move to a little bit to the high side and drop the high mid, or shift it to the low mid and drop the low mid. That's more flexibility, right? Now as we were going, then 5 knobs came out. Is it 5 knobs? Yes. 5 knobs, that's high mid, low mid, and low. Right? Then 7 came out. We now had high, then high mid, then high mid shift, then mid, then low mid, then low mid shift, then low. How many is that? This is the only analog mixer I will want to work with. That's what you choose because this guy you can now do a lot. But just having three bands, you cannot really do a lot, you understand? But with this guy, you can do a lot more than most digital mixers because digital mixers, you have just four bands. And the four bands are flexible. They can move and increase any range or decrease any range. So that's what an equalizer does. That's basically what it does. So if I'm to push my voice, let me use my voice as an example. Check, 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 check. So sorry guys. Check, check. Can you guys hear me? Check, 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 check. So check, 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 check. So I think the reason why is because there's too much low in my voice. Check, check. So this is currently my voice, and this is way it sounds. Check, 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 check. So, with my equalizer, if I push the ice, that's way it sounds. If I bring it down, it sound cold. You understand? So you can actually use this equalizer to affect the texture of the texture of what do we call it, of your audio signal. Was that hard? No. So you really need to learn how your equalizer works. You understand? Sit down and play with it. Increase this guy. How does it sound? Remember the whole hold different frequencies. You understand? So that's why most times I will like to work with a digital mixer that gives me 4 flexible bands. So let's keep on going. What's the next thing? Filter, right? So basically a filter is just easier. A filter is an equalizer with one band that cuts out. So if you have a filter, there's three types of filter actually. There is LPF, there's HPF, and there's band pass. So your low pass filter, you understand? It's just like an equalizer that only removes the low end of things. That's what it does. So when you turn it this way, you're bringing down this low end like this. You understand? An high pass filter, when you turn it this way, you're bringing down the high end like this, depending on where you want, which frequency you want to stop at. But band pass is both high and low. You understand? That's what band pass filter is all about. And we use this to filter out unwanted frequencies. Now, it's just like my voice. What is 80 hertz doing in my voice or 100 hertz? You don't really need it. You need to use a low pass filter. Is it low pass filter? A high pass filter, sorry. So it was even a mistake. I did not correct me, this boy. So you need to use a high pass filter, high pass, which means low cut. Low pass filter means high cut. So you're cutting the high pass filter, you're cutting the low. So I need a low cut, that's a high pass filter to filter out unwanted frequencies for my voice. You understand? So and these guys are actually added to your equalizer. You have an equalizer that has 4 bands already, 4 flexible bands. You now have an high pass filter in the front and a low pass filter. That's good consoles. Most consoles like this guy will only give you a low pass filter. If you need an high pass filter, which command remove your high, you use what? You can turn this your first band to an high pass filter. Sorry, to a low pass filter. I can also turn this your band 1 to a high pass filter. So it's actually flexible. But bigger consoles, they'll give you a low cut and a high cut. Working independently of your 4 flexible bands. So that's filter for you. Yeah, an equalizer um that filters out.
Sorry, sorry, I just want to go back to that.
Yeah,
That our overhead mic, yeah.
yeah.
Is it good to remove the low mic?
Low end information, right? So it depends, right? So
Since you said it's speaking the drums too.
yeah, speaking the drums. So basically it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Most times, and the music, genre of the music. Most time when I'm mixing jazz, you only do a high pass. Is it high pass filter? Yes, high pass filter at maybe 200. So we're looking for low end information from the overheads. So that because of flexibility, jazz is a very very dynamic music, and so you need to pick up those details. So that's why we do let the overhead do most of the works. So when I'm mixing something like let's say funk or some pop music, you need to use your overhead to pick mostly the cymbals. And most what I do most of the time is um remember your overhead is like an overall stereo image of the drums, carrying the whole drums. So to make your drums, if you don't know how to mix drums, just push your overhead and your kick drum to sound like very good mix. That's it. The raw sound of the drum was good. Using your overheads and kick can give you a very very professional sound, and that's what most of these guys use. You're listening to Zijan, listening to Nord Live, listening to some people. All these guys can only use the overheads to pick up the drums and to be so neat that you don't be like, how do they mix this thing? It's just overheads and kick. That's the only thing. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Coming to our own Nigeria,
Yes.
Nigeria, yeah, churches and gospel. So what do you think is best for an overhead?
So basically, according to the way we do things here in Nigeria, I mostly I pass my overhead.
iPads.
Yes, I pass filter. Yes, low cut. Remove the low end to something like 1K because I want only the cymbals to come in and a little bit of the smack of the thumbs. Because if you check your overhead, when you play your thumbs, behind that from the thumbs. So I need that thing uh uh for my drums. So when I'm mixing my drums individually, my thumbs, I'll not add too much high end because high end is already coming from the overhead. Do you understand? So you don't need to be scared of cymbal bleed because when you get your thumbs, when you play your thumbs will open now. And when they open for that few minutes, cymbals will pass through. And if you mix your thumbs in a way that if you remove the gate, the cymbal is sounding very harsh. It means when the thumbs open, the cymbal will sound very harsh. For that moment, the gate is open from before it closes back. So that's where you hear this kind of pss, pss, pss coming from. And most of the times, that's what bad mixing is right cause most of the times. So allow the natural identity of things to pass through. So that's where I do my overhead. So let's go back to what's the next thing? Compressor, right? We're already above 2 hours. So let's just do 8 minutes more. That's 220. Let's stop at 220. They were burning lights, burning a lot. So let's move. What's the next thing? So let's talk about compressor. What's a compressor? A compressor is basically an audio device that controls the dynamics of an audio signal. And what's dynamics? Dynamics is something that is really, what word can I use? Eh? Yes, it's actually part of it. That's dynamics. You see, accent and ghost notes. So that's what your compressor does. It controls the dynamics. You understand? So the way a compressor basically works is you have input, you have ratio, you have threshold, you have attack, you have release, you have hold, and you have makeup gain. So if you want to look at it well, and I'll just draw a diagram that will make it easier for you to understand. So this is your metering, this is your audio. The audio is going up and down. Your compressor is just like a ceiling that doesn't allow uh, some loud peaks to pass through. So when it reaches that point, it will compress it. So where it's compressing is the threshold. So you need to set your threshold. If my peak is coming in at minus 18 dB and my threshold is on minus 15, will it compress? No, because it's not reaching. So I need to bring my threshold down to where? Somewhere around minus 18 or minus 19, so that when it's reaching that ceiling, what does it do? Docks it down. So now that's where the threshold is. Threshold is at what point should the compressor act? What volume? So was that hard? Then the next thing is your ratio. This guy is hard. So okay, let me talk about attack first. Release and hold before I talk about ratio. So I'll actually pause this video and post it again. Yeah, somebody said knee. That's very good. Thank you very much. Knee control. So we talk about the threshold. At what point is the compressor acting, right? Then let's talk about the attack. So anytime you hear attack in audio, attack is how fast. So even when the audio reaches this threshold, if my attack is on 0 millisecond, that means I'm telling you that when it reaches that threshold, block it immediately. Do you understand? Reduce the audio signal back. But if it's on 5 milliseconds, when it reaches that threshold, it will wait for 5 milliseconds before. So the audio might have passed the threshold and still went up. You understand? Before the compressor now start docking it back down. Do you understand that? So that attack is how fast should it compress after the audio has reached the threshold. Was that hard? Now let's talk about hold. So hold is even when your audio has reached that threshold and your attack time, you set your attack time, and it has docked it back down, how long should it wait before it comes back up? That's what your hold is. Should you wait for a longer time before it comes out of your stand, or should it stay there? Do you understand? So that's your hold for you. Then your release is after it has been held for some time, depending on your hold. If you can put your hold on 0, that means as it compress, it come back up. If your release is how fast should it come back up? You understand? So you have 3 processes: your attack, your hold, and your release. Your attack is how fast should it compress. Your hold is how long should it wait for after it has been compressed, and your release is how fast should it come back up. So I can use these two to really do a lot. I can use these two to do a lot. When I mean really do a lot, like to shape the dynamics and tonality of a certain thing or certain audio signal. So let's talk about your tones now. A well-tuned tones sounds the length. When I mean length of a well-tuned tone sounds like 700 milliseconds. That's almost a second. Dum, dum, you understand? It stretches for that long. So if this is our tone, this is the amplitude. It's very loud at the beginning. Then now this is, you understand? The amplitude of the vibration was very loud at the beginning. Then it now fades up now. Dum, like it fade away. So this guy is the attack. Normal. This is the sorry, I said attack. It's actually the attack, but this is the transient. We call it transient. And this guy is the resonance or the sustain, whatever I want to call it. So if this guy is 700 milliseconds long, that's how long the tones is. Like it's very, very long. I can actually leave this attack alone. That means by increasing my attack time something like 10 milliseconds, that's around from here to here. So this spike can go through. So the eating of the stick can pass through before it compresses. You understand? So when it compresses, now reduce the volume back, down, then wait for some time, wait for like 50 milliseconds, that's your hold, before it comes back up. So the release is now like how fast should it come back up. So if I set my attack to be 10 my hold to be like 200 and my release like 200. You understand? Just to make up for that 700. So what happen is when I eat, like the spike will first enter before it compresses, then before it now comes back up. So it's give me more like ding, then it comes down before it now comes up, come back up. So that's what the compressor does. It controls the dynamic. But if I really want to make this guy, which is the channel to be the same volume of this resonance, what do? Put my attack on 0, my hold 0, release 0. Everything that is entering to dock this guy and bring this guy up. So my sound rough, very rough because everything now is in the same volume. Just but do you really want that? Sometimes I might want that sometimes. Talking about snare bottom, that's what I do to my snare bottom. So to pick up those ghost notes they are playing, all those little notes drum I play, to pick it up. Do you understand? So I do that to my snare bottom, but not to my snare top. Do you understand? But what's the implication of that? Some other things might be entering, like your kick, this thing. But there are other things, tricky things I do to solve that problem. So that's just for your old release. So it's not that hard. Then your ratio is just like, let me explain it the stupid way. So your ratio is just like how much is entering. Let me explain ratio first. Let's talk about ratio a little bit. When you see 0 to 0, you're not comparing anything. But when it's over 10, when you see 8 to 2, what does it mean? Now let me use signal as an example. Signal and 2, noise. So signal 8, noise 2. Talking about the difference between both of them. Is this good? Yes or no? That's very good, right? I have more of my signal and low noise. But if it's 5, is it good? I'm very bad. You have a lot of noise. But if it is 3, 7, is it good? Still bad. Do you understand? So you want more of your ratio is just you want more of your signal. So your ratio is just the difference between two things. Now, when it comes to ratio and compression, it's talking about how much is coming in and how much should I compress. Do you understand? How much volume is coming in and how much should I compress? If it's 1 to 1, you understand, you're not compressing anything. But if you are doing 8 to 2, like you're compressing a lot, you understand, and allowing 2 to pass, you understand. So that's just the threshold. And if you look at it very well, you will see something like if it's on 1 to 1, that means you're not compressing everything, although it's just going straight. But you put it on 2 to 1, it might bend like this. So sorry, it might bend a little bit. So when your audio is reaching here, don't really reach the maximum volume, just bend small. You understand? But when you put it like this, you understand? It means when you're reaching that place, so this is like 10 to 1. When it's reaching that place, you're not causing that volume. But this now depends on your attack, hold, and release. If your attack was still very slow, it means even when your audio has reached there, you still reach that peak before you now drop it down. So you're the one that's using the compressor, you're the one that knows how best you want to use it. You understand? There's no specific way, but I have some values I put in. I know that when I'm working, I just put it there to work. You understand? I have those values, and most times I'll just do on my snare 18, on my old, that's on my snare attack 18, on my old, let's say 10, and release, let's say 150. Because snare is really a very fast.
This is what you use, right?
Yeah, this is what I use. Because because snare is a very, very fast, and I'm going to talk about knee control. I'm coming. So snare is
That attack is 18 or 180.
18 milliseconds. 18.
Yeah, but that time I see 180 there.
18 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, and 150 milliseconds. So this is what I put on compressor.
This on your this one now is on your snare top, not snare bottom.
Yes, snare top, snare bottom. Snare bottom 000.
000.
But you have to be careful still.
Yes, you have to be very careful.
Like you said.
So 18, 10, 150. If it's toms, remember toms are longer. You understand? So I usually do most times, depending on how tight or how loose the thumb is very tight. I don't need to put too much attack time. If it's loose, that means it's not really tight. Most times I will just what do we call it? I will just uh increase the attack time to maybe like 3, so that I can quickly it can shape it. You understand? So 3 and maybe hold on 30, release on 300.
So, sorry, at what point should you use, there's hard compression and soft compression.
Yes.
So, at what point should you apply those two?
Now it all depends.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where knee comes in. You understand? Knee is simply you see this threshold exactly where it's compressing. Knee is how soft or how hard. So if you're increasing the knee, I think you're softening it. Then you're increasing this range. You understand? Range of where you should start compressing. It's not like when you're reaching there, where stop. You're softening it, so it will be like something like it will curve. Do you understand? So the threshold, you're just increasing the range of the threshold so that the compression will start happening even before it reaches that this will start happening. So it's softer. It's not like this one. So talking about a limiter, there's also what we call a limiter. It's also another device. Another device is a compressor that does not have this, it only has release. And the knee is very hard. Anywhere you set it to, nothing can cross that level. That's why you see some people, some engineers warning like you like volume, they just change their compressor. What they'll do is they'll put their attack time on 0, their hold on 0, they'll now leave their release time. They'll now put the ratio to be 10. You cannot cross that level. You understand? You cannot. Because when it reaches there, it compress it down. So a compressor can also be a limiter. You understand? You can use a compressor as a limiter. It also controls the dynamics. So that's for what else have I not talked about? The makeup gain. So makeup gain is basically after all this compression, you might lose a lot of volume. So you can gain up the signal back because you have
Using the main gain.
not using the main gain.
Yeah.
So you are using that gain to make up for the loss of volume you've done from the compression. So was that hard? No. Let's jump into gates. So gates is actually, I've explained what attack code and release is. I don't need to really explain what it is.
So, that's snare. I know the hold.
So for the snare, attack 18, hold 10, release 150. For thumbs,
I've gotten enough for thumbs.
okay.
No, you're right. I never let her.
For thumbs, attack 3, depending on how tight or loose. For hold 30, and for release 300. But sometimes it depends on how toned the thumb is. Sometimes the thumbs can be larger thumbs which are stretching longer. I can actually put this hold on 50. You understand?
For big thumb.
Yeah, for big thumbs, you understand? Because it's
All those 12 sides.
yeah. I don't really compress my kick too, Sha.
You don't compress your kick.
I don't really compress it. It's like maybe basic compression. And for kick, I think kick is I just do 10, 50, 150. That's what I do. 10, 50, 150. So don't just carry this thing and go and apply it.
But you can play with that range.
Yes, play with that range. So another thing now is your threshold.
You don't want to hear anything. If you pull it back there for 50, They go hear us.
Nobody is so happy.
That ratio, now you
What do you mean by that?
That ratio, now the target, they go hear us.
Ah,
That ratio.
It should be 10-1, please.
As the 10-1.
10-1.
No, 10-1.
That was wickedness. So let's keep on moving. Where did I stop? So we're moving into gate, right? So gate is actually has the same diagram with a compressor, but the difference is gate is like a gatekeeper that only allows things with certain volume to enter. You understand? So talking about our threshold, remember our threshold is when should the process start happening. So if my audio is reaching, if I set my what do you call it? My threshold, let's say to be minus my threshold to be around here. You understand? Maybe that's around no, let me use this place instead. Let's say I set my threshold to be around minus 15 dB. Just giving an example, that's not how it really works. You understand? And my audio signal is entering at minus 18 dB with the gate open. No, it's not open because the audio signal is not reaching that threshold. So you need to drop your threshold down to where the signal is being able to enter. But now the thing now is because if you are miking your snare mic is closer to the snare, so you pick the snare more. So it pick the snare like this, start maybe at minus 18 dB. And the toms also pass through the snare mic. The cymbals will pass, but they all pass at different volumes. So if my snare, which is closer, the snare mic which is closer to the snare is picking the snare at minus 18 dB, and it will pick the toms around maybe minus 25 dB, and maybe pick the cymbals around minus 27 dB. Although there's how you play the cymbals very hard, that to reach this 18 and to open the gate. So because my snare is the loudest, I can now set my threshold to where? Let's say minus 19. Where it's only when my snare is crossing that threshold, that's when the gate will not open. So it's just like an off and on. If nothing is passing through, the gate will be closed. When you play your snare, because the snare is reaching that threshold, the mic will open, the snare will pass through and to close back. You are playing your thumbs is not loud enough to open the gate, so the thumbs is not entering to the snare mic. Is that hard? It's not hard. So relating attack, hold, and release now to the same process is, remember attack is how fast should the process happen. So even when you hit your snare and your snare has hit the threshold, if your attack is like on 5 milliseconds, that gate will wait for 5 milliseconds before it opens. And if your audio signal is not like this, you understand, that means you might lose this hit, this attack, that you might hit it, like you might lose it because the gate did not open very fast enough for that attack to enter. So it will pick, it's only the resonance that enters. So we hear more like the attack is gone. So, but what do you need to do to make that attack enter? You need to put your attack on 0 so that when the snare is hitting each other, it opens immediately. Snare drum. Do you understand? It opens immediately. So your hold is after the gate has been opened and your snare has passed through, how long should you wait for before it closes back? That's all your hold is. Your release is how fast should it close back. That's not very hard. So looking at a thumb that is 600 milliseconds long. So when it reaches that threshold, what will happen is because your attack is on 0 milliseconds, the gate will open immediately. Your thumb will pass through, this attack will pass through. But if your release is on 50, your hold is on 50 and your release is on 25, is that enough time for the whole thumbs to pass through? You get more of because the gate is closing before this rest of this resonance enter inside. So what do you need to do? What I do is I'll put my attack on 0. Then my release, I'll divide the length of the thumbs. That's by ear, by 2. That's 300 milliseconds. Then I'll put 300 milliseconds in my hold and 300 in my release. So the whole toms will pass you before you close this back. That's why you be listening to the toms, don't be hearing everything. Everything will be entering inside because I've set the gate to open exactly to the timing of the toms. So yes, when the gate opens, all these guys, they cannot enter. They can, yes, find their way to enter inside because the gate is now open, everything can enter, but it's closed back after the snare has stopped playing. Do you understand? So, that's all about your gate. There's nothing else.
But what if I want to isolate? I just want only the tom. I don't want any other thing. What I want is only the tom.
That's where samples come in because it's not possible. Your gate is just open and close. You understand? It only opens. When it opens, everything will enter. You understand? So everything will enter inside the at that moment that is open for this timing. Your cymbal will enter, your snare will enter. You understand? They will enter. But they will enter. But when it gets closes back, they will not be able to enter because it's closed. So now, the funny thing now is, if you say you don't want anything else, that means you need to trigger that toms. So you're not using that same sample. You're using your gate is triggering another sample. So most triggers they do use gate too. Triggers so you set that threshold to where only the thumb is entering to. So as your thumb is entering into it, your thumb is going to trigger that sound. But if you go and drop your threshold to where snare is entering into your thumb mic, you understand? Snare will start triggering thumbs. So when you play snare, thumbs here, do you understand? And that's not what you really want. So you need to set that threshold too. Even triggers have gate. So it's not possible for you to say with your gate you don't want any other thing to enter. Once the gate is open, everything will enter. So it now depends on the EQ you put on your thumbs. If the EQ you put on your thumbs doesn't suit the rest of your drum kit, you understand? What will happen? You start hearing another version of that particular, let's say your snare, because there's a particular EQ you put on your thumbs, right? And that EQ, when it goes open, that snare, it means you have placed that EQ on your snare too. That's what it means. So, the best way to escape it is doing an equalization that fits both your thumb and your snare. So even when your thumb is open and your snare pass through it, you don't really feel it. But when you are somebody that you are a newbie, enter mixing your thumb, you got hard eye. When you had the eye now, the thumb is sweet, so having attack, forgetting that cymbal self, they enter. That's when those cymbal bleeds happen. You understand? And this is something I learned from Daystar. You see their thumbs like this, almost flat. You wonder, why did they do like this? Until I thought of it, so this is the reason why. So you see the gate opening even when the thumbs is not playing, but you're not feeling it because the EQ on the thumbs is not picking. So that's just one thing about being professional. You understand? You have to have good drums. Those good drums, try and work with the natural tone. Don't give what it doesn't have to it. When you do that, you start creating problems for yourself. You will not know. It might sound good at that point, but when you start moving. So if you're looking for high, use microphones that have high end. Stop using your equalizer to start boosting or giving what your what's time? This is 5. I have to round up now.
Sorry, last question.
What other thing am I supposed to? Yeah, so your fader is just your volume. Nothing else. Control the volume in relativity to what is coming from your gain. That's all. So questions, please.
Last question is, so what are you supposed to do on your channel? Is it your gain? Normally your gain, right?
First thing on your channel strip.
Channel stream. Are you supposed to touch your gain first?
Yes.
Like,
So after your gain,
Filter.
are you following this stuff that you wrote?
Yes, I'm following it.
Okay. So,
okay, is it same thing with what we wrote here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be
So
gain.
Yes.
after gain filter,
That would be filter.
Then
That would be timing.
timing. This
That
is
would
it.
be gate.
gate, then
Then
Compressor.
Okay, so equalizer comes last.
So equalizer comes.
Oh, for real?
Yes, it comes
You
last.
set your
But
gate before your
this-
compressor.
Eh?
You set your gate before
Yes, before
your
your compressor. The reason why is if you put your compressor before your gate, it is how you compress that you compress everything to the same volume.
Mm.
So you're not what are you not getting
Getting
again?
again.
Since everything is coming in at the same
True.
volume, do you understand? So
Okay.
what other
Then your
thing
feeders comes last.
comes last? That's just the thing.
But please, this timing issue. I don't know, probably if you can request that you should please do a video for us. Because I've always heard about this timing.
Yeah.
But I've never seen like a practical
Car particle, yeah.
practical way of actually doing it. So please, I don't know if you can.
I'll work on a video on that.
If you can request, please.
Based
like,
on, based on popular demand.
And that's what I do.
Based on popular demand.
you
Basically,
show
that's
us.
what I do. I look at my comment section and see what people are asking for, then I'll do a video on that. That way, the video gets views.
Create a wave.
It's gone inside our bag, bro. So that's just it. Any other questions? Think on ending this live stream now.
The questions from those guys.
Nobody's asking
Ayat,
questions. Ayat.
Eh,
Ayat is basically the same thing.
How about mixing other instruments?
I think we'll do that
Someone
in
else here,
some other day because I didn't really know we will take a lot of time like that. We took a
You
lot
said,
of time.
delay is the delay for maybe you want to delay on that speaker.
Yes.
What are you going to use to delay the second speaker?
Okay. There's what we call a DSP, digital signal processor. You understand? It's like a device you can use to apply those processing, delay, EQ, compression,
is it
gating.
available on digital mixer?
Yes, available on most digital mixers. Most. You see,
Like,
input.
the same thing we see the
Analog
ask
mixer.
now. Now it still be that timing issue now.
So on the mixer, there's actually delay, but I'm trying to see whether it's your maybe it's the firmware of this mixer that is not updated. That's why I'm not seeing it here. So
What did they config this?
what do you say?
So what did the configuration?
Yes, yeah, I'm supposed to see it in configuration. So let me see.
Start them.
I'm even seeing it here. Says wait. Are you saying plus 48 volts? Yeah, invert delay low cut.
Okay.
So it's actually delay. So I'm looking for where it is going. See it on config. Yes, I can put
Engineer
delay.
Timothy said
Engineer said it. Engineer Timothy.
So you're just supposed to do the book on that.
Apa, what could be your number?
So we are done, right?
People know they see screen from.
Let me see if I can bend this guy for you to see it.
Imagine now, I like because they enjoy pass us.
That's why no days are day.
We will there for SEO. No, we need to suffer. So this is delay. You are seeing channel on your screen.
Yes, now.
Point at the delay. Are you seeing it? Point at it. Yes, so that's the delay over there. And input delay. So that can really change your mixing game. Just time aligning your mics. So what other questions? I'm trying to end this live. So guys, thank you guys for watching. Yes, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys for being here, supporting my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Share this video if you found this video helpful. Share, like, subscribe. And this video was sponsored by the Top Entertainment. It gave me this space to do everything. Check their YouTube out. I'll put it on the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Blessed.